I lived the Perk moment. Let me explain though. It was kind of the end thing of a long line of things that happened in my life. As some of you may know, I got my master's degree at John Carroll University. And while I was there, I took courses and I was a history major. And one of my courses, the professor used to meet with us Monday evenings, or no, it wasn't Monday evening, I think it was Tuesday evenings. And he would take us to the Rathskeller at Carroll. Some of you may be familiar with that. And we would sit around this table. There were about 9 of us in the class. And we would sit there and we would drink. And the professor would talk. And he would talk. And he would talk. And he would talk. The professor was Michael Papp. And what did he talk about? It was 1972. I'll give you a hint. It had to do with Ralph J. Perk and what he was doing in the Perk administration. And what Dr. Papp would do was talk about his week's events. What better way to deal with a history class than to actually live history through the eyes of that individual. Time goes on, years later, and I was working here at CSU. In our old building over at the Urban Affairs Department in Levin College, my office was next to the mailroom. That was convenient. Anybody came in and out, I saw them. Friday afternoon, our dean, David Sweet, used to like to have meetings in the late afternoon. And all of these distinguished people, including Ruthie Miller and others, would come in for these meetings, and they would last an hour or two. One afternoon, it was kind of a day like today, and it might have been this time of the year. I think it was. I see this gentleman walk in, and he's looking around, and I looked at him, and he walked through the building and came back around again. The second time he came in, I said, I know that man. Who is it? I thought a minute, I said, that's Mayor Perk. So I went out and I said, Mayor, how are you? He said, fine, young man, how are you? And I said, would you like to come in and sit in my office? And he said, yes. He said, I'm here to meet with David Sweet. And I said, I know that, but why don't you have a seat? And he said, fine, he did. And we talked. And I don't remember too much about what we talked about at that particular session, but we talked about a few things here and there. The same thing happened about a month later. And Mayor Perk came in, and this time he knew me. So he came in, he sat down, said, how are you? And I'm fine. And we started talking about a lot of things. And I let him know that my first job I had ever had was with the CETA program during his administration. Perk looks at me, the mayor, and says, young man, I didn't know you then, but I'm glad I was able to help you along in your career. Now it seems to me, what better statement can be said? Here was a man that truly cared about people. He didn't know me, but he was just happy that he was able to help me in my career. And I felt honored that a man of his position wanted to spend some time with me.